Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gray, you have repeatedly stated here today that you believe that there was no intent to mislead. Let's look at what happened. CTV spliced together 3 short sound bites. Sound bites spliced together, not even in the order that they were stated, to create an entirely made-up sentence, literally fake news, that entirely changed the meaning of what Pierre Poilievre said. So, on what basis do you conclude that there was no intent to mislead? On what basis exactly?
2 now former staff members of CTV News acted in a way that was in breach of our editorial standards.
You made a conclusive statement that there was no intent to mislead. So I'm asking you, on what basis do you draw that conclusion?
Based on 33 years of experience, and this being the first and only
Mr.
time
Gray, no one
anything like
believes
this
you.
has
And
ever
you said, for example, that the employee who altered the video, one of the 2 employees, said that he or she believed that it would be understood to be about the carbon tax election. Yet nowhere in the report is there any mention of the carbon tax election. So on what basis could anyone reasonably believe that that statement was made in that context when there was no context? Quite the opposite, disinformation.
I disagree.
It's a fact that there was no mention of a carbon tax election. You have no credibility, and in the face of the fact that CTV peddled a fraudulent news story, and you haven't apologized, you haven't explained the basis upon which you have asserted that there was no intent to mislead, to simply say you disagree isn't good enough. No one believes you.
We have, in fact, apologized twice.
You haven't apologized at all. You said there was no intent to mislead. No intent to mislead, but you can't even articulate the basis of why.
There was no intent to mislead. We have apologized
Say that,
twice.
but I asked you to provide a basis, and you haven't been able to provide a basis.
2:30. Go ahead, Mr. Caputo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gray, I take issue with something that you said, and it's actually been said a number of times at this committee. You characterized this as a mistake. Do you stand by that?
It was the violation
Sir,
of
I asked
our editorial
was this
standards.
a mistake? You've said that before. You stand by the fact it was a mistake. Is that correct?
I stand by the fact that
Sir,
this story went to air in a way that it shouldn't
Sir,
have.
no, you have called it a mistake. And with all due respect, a mistake is when I put milk in my coffee instead of cream. This was a massive error in judgment. This was a previously unforeseen breach of trust from what was once a trusted media organization. And you have said, picking up on what Mr. Cooper said, the explanation given was not to mislead Canadians. Sir, do you even believe that?
I stand by my testimony today wholeheartedly and unreservedly.
You stand by your testimony that the intent was not to mislead Canadians. Did you talk to these people and get their motives, sir?
There was a fulsome investigation.
But I asked whether, sir, with all due respect, I didn't ask whether there was an investigation. I asked whether you spoke with them. Yes or no?
I did not speak with them beyond having an initial conversation with the reporter the night that this was brought to our attention.
So you had a brief initial conversation, and based on that, you come to committee and say that there was no malevolent intent to mislead based on that. And I ask whether you believe that, and you stand by it. With all due respect, sir, that is an untenable claim that you have arrived at. We are getting ready here for a carbon tax election. At the end of the day, is there one thing that you have done, that you have implemented to ensure that this won't happen again? Just one thing.
Yes, we've terminated 2 individuals.
No, sir, you have countless other employees. I mean, that was possibly the worst answer you could have given. What about moving forward? That is retrospective. What about moving forward? Because, sir, this is what I can say. Why is it that it always is the Conservatives that are fighting this battle? Why is it? Why is it that when it comes to Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, they are not misquoted, but when it comes to Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre, this type of thing can happen, and that is shameful.
I'm going to have to end it there.
I disagree with the characterization.
Okay, thank you.